and that's what I'm saying is that Elon Musk has the same thing, and I didn't realize that he had the same thing as me, and I don't know why. I can't explain why, because it's fucking wholly dumb. Like parasocial shit's dumb. Like the fact that someone thinks that because I agree with Elon Musk that I'm an Elon Musk stan, hasn't seen engaged with any of my content or anything that I've ever written, or doesn't know. So why would that have any fucking impact at all, other than trying to shame somebody who can't be shamed? Because like, again, that's just like that's how you know it's a troll farm, is just shown up and not a follower. Because if you know anything about me, you know that I've been like equally critical of him, right? Yeah, so Peter Molyneux, yes, he actually made, isn't he the guy who made Black and White? Yeah, the Black and White game, one of the best games ever. And now it's like basically abandonware because it's stuck. Is that Peter Molyneux? Or was that was Stephen Molyneux, wasn't it? Peter Molyneux. No, sorry, my mistake. I always get Peter and Stephen confused. One's a white supremacist, one made games. I always get Peter and Stephen confused. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, so it is Peter. It is Peter Molyneux. Yeah, he did. Peter Molyneux did the Fable series and Black and White. Absolutely marvelous. But that game, I fucking love that game. But unfortunately, it's the reason why it's not available anywhere is because it's basically stuck in a licensing war. So all of these acquisitions over various years, they've acquired various gaming houses, and they literally don't know who owns it. They don't know who owns the game. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, so that's a different thing. Yeah, but he's just ambitious. Again, this is a different thing. I think that there's people that do that because Todd Howard's another one of those. Fallout. Todd Howard from Bethesda is one of those. You've worked with these guys too, Matt. You've got the people that are the visionaries, and you've got the people who just see things differently, and they can't always deliver on their promises because they mean it with all their heart that it's possible. But unfortunately, it's just they take on too much. They bite off more than they can chew. They promise more than they can deliver, and it just sort of falls apart there. Yeah, I kind of. Oh my God, Matt. And Matt said, "Holy crap! Now I really want to see a Musk-created Bethesda game." Fucking hell. But I'm just saying, like this. But it's not. My point is that this isn't uncommon. It's not uncommon at all. And I actually talked about this last night on Twitter. And I said earlier, Fallout First members, okay? So Fallout First is a subscription that you can pay, I think it's like $20 a month, and you get some perks. So you get you get XP boost for the scoreboard. You get some like free shit, cosmetics. You get 1,500 atoms to spend on the Atom Store. You get survival tent, but you get these sort of perks, right? It's not worth it. However, you get scrap box and things like unlimited carry weight versus, like in Fallout you had, like you have carry weight, your standard shit, right? So you had a scrap box where you and ammo box and stuff, so you can like offload that shit to an unlimited scrap box versus a limited one. Just little perks like skins and shit like that, okay? But you also get a survival tent where you can like drop a camp wherever you are, okay? Which is useful. But early on, because Fallout 76 launch was absolutely catastrophic, okay? Watch the Internet Historians Fallout 76 story. It's absolutely fucking amazing. But there was this whole thing around, because obviously it's a AAA title. Now, okay, let me finish my sentence. So Fallout 76 has some, Fallout, there is actually some genuine criticisms. Okay, so it's not dissimilar to the Fallout 76 launch in the fact that Twitter, there's legitimate criticisms of the way it's been handled. There's legitimate around, obviously the way that it's been communicated, the way that it has been pissing people off on, for like that's all legitimate. But it's the same thing with the Fallout launch. If you don't mind, I'm going to go into this and clip it because I think that this is actually, there's parallels between figures like Todd Howard, Molyneux, and Musk, and what's happening with the verification. So, but when Fallout 76 first launched, there were legitimate grievances. Like, I mean legitimate. So basically, Bethesda had a launch date. They obviously, it was launched with an almost comic hang on, comically an almost comically large number of bugs. There you go. That was the sentence that I was after. Okay, and it was just broken. Okay, it was just it wasn't done. It was in beta, right? And I think a lot of the learning from these launches, like Cyberpunk, like a lot of the reason why these things are now people are signing up to pre-launch and betas is because they've learned from Fallout 76, and they've learned from these things that again, anyone who's put anything live ever understands that go live is the most stressful time, and launch is the most stressful time of any kind of like development cycle. But so that was a catastrophic launch. It went really badly, and they were charging for Fallout First from launch. Now, the criticism of that was because that was a AAA title. It was a AAA release, okay? But the problem is that because it was an online multiplayer game, these things cost money to keep up. Like, the servers are expensive. Keeping an MMO up, oh, it's not an MMO. Oh, yeah, I suppose it is. It wasn't massive. It's MMO. It's just like servers with 25 people. It's not, but they're just, like I'm saying, let's move on from that, which is that it's expensive it's to keep it running and keep it going and introduce features, okay? So that model of putting it in the Game Pass store or putting it in there for free and then charging a subscription for those who love the game and who want perks, that funds the ongoing development of the game, okay? So there's that part. But again, that's a learning that has happened over time as well. That's the best approach. What happened with Fallout 76 launch was that they were double dipping because they released it as a full price AAA title and had a subscription. But early in that launch, obviously people were paying for Fallout First. But what they did was they actually gave people who paid for Fallout First a Fallout First icon. Now, from the marketing point of view, they wanted to create social proof, which was to create that those players, you could identify those who pay for Fallout First, even though the game was shit. Now, obviously, because mad gamers tend to be fucking unhinged, especially younger ones, okay? They think it's all, again, it's just one of those things that are known, which is that you piss off gamers and you fucking, like that's just, you don't piss them off, right? And again, in the context of Gamergate, and that was all still running fucking raw, that, what was once, an art form and a craft was having micropayments. There's a whole context to that. It's not just the thing, but there's parallels, which is that it was a disastrous thing. The product wasn't good. There was a perception among those who had paid for the game that they'd been ripped off, which is an absolutely valid criticism. And then there were those that they saw as an easy or stupid mark that continued to pay for Fallout First because for whatever reason they were in tech. Like for me, because I'm in tech, I understand, first of all, mistakes happen. Second of all, go live can be a disaster. Like, third of all, there's just so many things that can go wrong. And I just go, all right, I love this game. I love Fallout series. Let's just throw some money in it. Okay, money at it. Okay, let's go with it. Unfortunately, Bethesda's one of those companies that's sort of at the mercy of someone who doesn't seem to have. I've heard that it's quite a toxic team. I don't know. Okay, I'm quite happily work at Bethesda. I'm used to working with that shit, but I'm just saying, like, what other people define as a toxic team is very different to what I would. Like, I always, throughout my career, I've generally been brought into a toxic team and survived 4 months and then left and gone, I've done what I can do. You're on your own. I just turn things around and put systems in place to sort of make things better. But I love that Molyneux, Howard and Musk Enterprises is now canonically part of the Teyaverse. They always are. I just don't get a chance to talk about more broad things. But I like the fact that you raise it because it reminded me. I was literally talking about this last night on Twitter, which was, like I said, those who chose to pay for Fallout First had an icon, and they would, from a marketing point of view, well, that creates social proof and that other people are willing to pay for it. So, we're going to show that off. That, again, good idea, good strategy if you're a marketer. But if you don't understand, if you're not thinking about the brand, the overall brand and context, or the political climate, or not reading the room, which is what marketers don't do very well because they're dimwits, is that, which was that they didn't consider the fact that people were very unhappy, and that they would turn, and the Fallout, people who paid for Fallout first, giving them an identifiable mark, internet being internet, they would not, necessarily go after the servers or the game, or they would just start griefing those and attacking and stalking and harassing those people. Now, the impact that had was that basically it exposed a culture that Bethesda then sort of over time changed their terms of service to, have anti-griefing. They had all these sort of new policies in place, and they, obviously kept pushing patches. Now, again, lots of valid criticisms about the way that this has been handled, and especially the amount of content and value that is there for those who have sort of vested early. That risk always exists, and it exists with Twitter Blue as well. The fact that you pay for Twitter Blue doesn't necessarily guarantee that you are going to get what you paid for in the end. But, I'm paying for a bit of hope that it might be that might be the case, which is the same thing like with Fallout 76 or We Happy Few, another disastrous launch, right? And so when their community turns on them, they turn on other players as well. And so there's parallels there. But it is, yeah. So that's the thing, is that you've got, so Matt said sunk cost fallacy, which is true. So you've just always got to be alert to the fact that it might be a sunk cost fallacy. And every day, like with Fallout, every month of Fallout, I still play Fallout 76 at least maybe 3 or 4 times a week, because I go in and I check on my camp and I sell some shit and I do some stuff, and then I wait for the next patch because or wait for the next season, right? There's events and all that sort of stuff. And then what I do is that comes back to the community part of it, which is that what happened with the Fallout 76 community was that eventually those people sort of fell away. They went over to other places. They went to Fortnite. They went to all these other places. But what happened with Fallout 76? It stands out. If you go on the Reddit subreddit of Fallout 76, it stands out as just an immensely helpful. It's an anomaly in the gaming communities, right? Which is that it is the people who stuck around because they were under attack. It also created this sense of community that, because it was so disastrous and everyone made fun of them and everyone didn't believe in it and all that stuff. Now, that's what cults do. Let's not get away from that. There's always a flip side to everything. But this is what happened with the Fallout 76 community. But what it did was that it created a core group of true fans, which is what I've talked about before, this core group of true fans that pay. But over time, as they were releasing new content, as they were ironing out the bugs, and then once it started to go on Game Pass, and which it should have been the whole fucking time, but once it was, it should have been free plus monthly, and people would have been fine. It was the fact that they tried to make it AAA and a subscription that was the mistake. But over time, again, they fixed. No Man's Sky is another really good example of turning it around, okay, where you have a base of loyal people because they, for whatever reason, okay, they're rooting for you, okay, because they're rooting for you. They want you to see. They want you to. They believe in you, okay. And this is something that I think gets lost, because what we've got is a whole ecosystem of those horrible people, the toxic people. Who have, you can tell that these people have never made anything in their lives and have, they've been bullies throughout high school. They were bullies and they've just made their whole life being, they've gone through life just being bullies and suck-ups to those, and suck-ups to bullies, right? That's how they make their fucking life. I don't know how you live with yourself, but, that's the internet and that's going to happen, okay? But, fast forward, when was it out? 2017. So fast forward like 5 years, okay? It's a mature game. It's wonderful. It's got good content. It lags a little from season to season, but again, people don't pay, because of the way Fallout 76 is designed, you need to create enough space for new players every cycle. You need people to be able to catch up and be able to, join in and, not to be constantly lagging behind so that they can join the event. So there is that sort of, you've got to throttle releases from a onboarding point of view, so that when you're sitting on Game Pass, you need to make sure that, the experience for new players isn't so sort of insurmountable and huge that they don't want to play the game either. Okay. But there's this community of core fans with Fallout 76 who just, because we're under attack, because we big grief, all of this shit, right? And especially on Xbox. I mean, fucking Xbox is just harassment central anyway. But because of that, like, initial, like, bumpiness, the community itself was like, okay, well, we got to help each other out. And so whenever there's new players in the game, there's people so when in Fallout 76, you start in a vault and you exit the vault. That's like your newbie story. Like, if you've played the Fallout series, kind of the tutorial level is in the vault, and then you venture out, and then you head to the, you head to Flatwoods, and then the story starts from there, right? But it didn't even have that story on launch. You just came out of the vault, right? It's fucking crazy. But people, what now? I've got more plans, more things that I can fucking handle. So culturally, what we do is we go, okay, there's a new player. You go, you see a new player, and you go and you craft them a decent weapon. You craft them legendary armor. You do some stuff, and you give them some shit. Especially when it's like a new camp, because you've got vendors and stuff. You give them shit that they can sell so that they can make more stuff. Help each other. You go, and people will just go and just drop like loot and plans and shit outside the vault for other players to use, because they want them to enjoy the game and want them to experience it. Now, obviously, like, people like my son, who are sort of like, die hard ethical, like, I don't want any, like, I want to play the game like in my way. That's fine. You don't have to use it, but it's just one of those things where it's created that culture where yeah. So it's just, there's always that starting point, right? BioShock starts with you in the ocean, right? But, but it's just a thing where you just help each other out. Someone comes to your camp, you have your vendor where you're selling fucking shit. But if it's not high value stuff, then you just give plans. Like, if there's lots of them, like I got so many, like, if you just pick up things like books or whatever in the game, like any kind of perks or whatever that can be shared, like bubble heads or whatever, it's just normal. If you've got like a few, to go and give them to a new player who will have no idea what to do. It's really funny, which is you'll see a new player, because it's not clear. It's just not like there's like not an obvious trading system. What it is you got to drop it, and it's a loot bag. But because they've just started the game, they have no idea what the fuck a loot bag is. So you've got to sit around jumping around and shooting, and they think that your player's shooting they think you're shooting at them. It's like, no, I'm shooting the bag. And so you actually do get a lot of joy out of spending like 5 solid minutes with this player. And some of them just run away because they think they're being shot at. But this whole thing, when they finally figure out that you're giving them stuff, and then they figure out the stuff, that was built like 3 stages, 3 clicks away from that disastrous launch and all the bullying that happened of those that actually were willing to pay. You see? And with Twitter Blue, it's vastly different in some ways, but very similar in others, because what's different about this is that we're also wrangling celebrity egos away. We're wrangling, we're trying to, we're wrangling power away from people who shouldn't have power and influence. And so what I think, and I said what I thought has happened, I've got to get to that point, which is what the stream was fucking about, Taya, which was that this is just a reset. And so I would not have handled this any differently, because first of all, I understand, like, this is temporary. It's temporary. Okay. But also, because that verification system became so corrupted, because they didn't differentiate between that, I did say that in the last stream, is that to manually review them all would take a year. Okay, easily. Just, you just take, it's just, you can't manually review them all. They haven't even manually reviewed my profile pic change, which took away my blue check. I thought, that's a good time to take away my blue check. Right? Because I can just, hide, but I still, obviously, because it takes a week to approve your profile pic or name changes now. And that's okay. And that was good. I waited until this moment to do that. But it's been funny, actually, because now I'm kind of like, in the space of like 4 days, it went from I have a blue check alongside other celebrities and they were engaged. Ricky Gervais is engaging with me and stuff and I'm having a fun time, to then suddenly all the legacy blue checks being removed. And then suddenly there being a campaign to bully all those blue check people because they're paying for Twitter Blue. So Matt Binder, who's a bully, he's a bully. They're bullies. Okay. But they don't make anything. And they're just paid bullies who are working on behalf of the powerful. They're not powerless. They think, again, it's just this whole, somehow they rationalize it because he's rich, but it's not that. Okay. He got rich from making things. Okay. And yeah, he might have had seed money. He got lucky. Yes. There's a whole other thing there. Again, valid criticisms, but it's not all of it, and it's not the whole story, and you're being disingenuous if you think that that's why you're doing it. You're doing it because you're a bully, because if you didn't, you'd think you'd bully Elon Musk and only Elon Musk, not people like me. And you'd also you're rationalizing it under the guise of politics, but you're actually just being a shill. You're a paid shill, and you are a fraud. You don't deserve it. It's just like, anyway, that's a whole other side point. But I'm talking specifically to Matt Binder here. He's a fucking fraud, absolute fraud. And the fact that he's on Musk's radar is interesting because he knows too. He's not stupid. This is why I was like, okay, I'm moving. The needle's nudging in favor of him at this point, because I also understand that these people, they're on a mission to destroy the platform. They're not going to change their mind. They're making stuff up. They're not going to hear sense. They keep moving the argument. Like, they just call you names. They bully you. They harass you, and until you just and then you just block them. It's like, it's no point. They're not changing their minds. They're in the business of bullying. They're not going to change their minds with an argument. But what you can do, because it's leveraged Twitter on itself. The toxic part of Twitter, he's very cleverly turned it on itself. So they're promoting him. That he's doing what Trump did best, which was keeping it in the headlines. People are going to see. The celebrities are melting down, which is the value proposition of Twitter. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, is watching celebrities have fucking diva meltdowns, whether they like it or not. That was what it was built on. 95% of normal, rational, fucking sensible people are just going, ha ha, this is funny and ridiculous. It's entertaining. Everyone's there. They're posting on Twitter about Twitter. Hang on a minute. Said this last night. Why you need a blue check if you left? Aren't you on Mastodon? Hang on. What's going on? Pick one. But I'm saying, right, I thought you left. Go, please. Just go. Anyway, but so it's obviously just bots and but it's also just the fact that they cannot control narrative anymore. But I saw someone this morning say, we should turn Twitter into Wikipedia style thing. And someone should buy it. Oh, that's right. Someone should buy Twitter, someone without an interest in profit, or preferably a not-for-profit, should take it and run it like Wikipedia. And I was like, so opening up community notes to everyone, like Elon Musk did, buying it at a loss, like Elon Musk did. It's like, this is the level. This is the fucking weird, this bizarre, duplicitous thinking. It's like, he literally did that. This is how like insane and just deranged this stuff is, right? But it's just, so there's just this bizarre fucking, like I said, Schrodinger's check mark, where it's just, I just love watching this like cope where they hate it. It's not that important. It's not important, but I'll pitch a fit because I lost it. But it's not that important. And I won't pay for it. But it's not that important, but I'll pitch a fit. And it's also like really important, but not important. And pick one. Leave or stop bitching. Leave. You're talking on Twitter about business works. You're on there. That's what the business is. Leave.